All right, so we have Josh Penner. All right, he is going to be running for JT Wilcox position.
Thank you. I know I'm a last minute addition.
That's
but-
right. Well, they say to save the best for last.
Well, all the good things have already been said. You said them at the beginning and then kind of reiterated all night. But I do want to start with one of the first things, which is one of the last things that I read, and it's from Lance. It says the future belongs to those who show up. That's how you ended your last email. And
That's right. Yep.
you know, those who show up make a difference. That's what's exciting about this. You know, the 229 Club, 2nd District, 29th District, 25th District. Of course, I'm running for the second legislative district, so a lot of the folks in here can't vote for me, but support is one thing, and that's welcome. But also getting to know me. I think the gentleman back there said you get to know someone, you trust them, you talk with them, and that's what really matters. And that's why I'm here tonight. I know that most of you can't vote for me, but I think that building a relationship is important because the problems we have in this state move way beyond the 2nd district.
Yeah.
One of the good things about the 2nd district is a Republican's gonna win.
Yes,
Right? So we're safe there. Just like the 25th district.
That's right.
The 25th district and the 2nd district, just because Republicans are gonna win doesn't mean we play defense.
That's right.
You know, they're safe districts, but we have to play offense. We have to play it. Just think about what happened with the 3 initiatives down in Olympia a couple days ago, right? You know why those passed? They passed because the Democrats were terrified of having them on the November ballot.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? They passed because we played offense when we could play offense. It would have been great to have them in November. I'm happy that we have them now because the public safety concerns, especially as a mayor of a small city, that's what really matters to me. Most people, when I tell them I'm the mayor of the city of Ording, they say, "Where's that?" That's fair. I'll tell you, in the 2nd district, we are a district of long driveways and small cities. And we are a district that's under siege from criminals who are completely reckless because they know they can be. We can't chase them, up until recently. We can't incarcerate them once we catch them. We have had arrests where we had to release the people 50 feet away from where they committed the crime. We're talking assaults, we're talking shooting a weapon at people as they're driving away in a vehicle. These are real problems that are happening in our districts. What's that?
Did that happen to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened to the people who shot?
Nothing. I don't know how the guy works. I saw the guy do it. Well, I didn't see him shoot, and that was my problem. I didn't see him pull the trigger. But he shot at me, blew out a window, took out the side of my van. I followed him. Nothing.
Yeah.
I followed him all the way to his place.
Well,
They went to his place. They're like, did you see him pull the trigger? Nope. Nothing we can do about it.
yeah. I'll tell you what we did in Ording. And this is something that is deeply personal to me. I was a council member for 2 terms before I was mayor for 2 terms. One of the reasons I ran for mayor was because of public safety. We had several drug houses in town, and they were distributing stuff to kids at the high school. They were supplying the crime in the city, and we knew it. And it became really frustrating to me. So when I became mayor, it was one of those things, you show up. You show up at the house every day, and you issue tickets, and you build a case file, and you spend the money, and you take the risk as a city to shut these places down. And it became a back and forth battle. I know you probably know how this works, where you push, they push back, you push, they push back. Nails in my tires, graffiti all over the place. Maybe people saw how I wrote Aaron. Eventually, we bulldozed the damn houses. So that's what you have to do. You have to be strong, and you have to show up every day, and you have to have the courage and commitment to continue to pursue what you believe is right, even when people push back. And that has worked locally tremendously in Ording. While the rest of the state has had rising crime rates the last couple of years, Ording has gone the opposite direction. So how does this translate to the legislature? I'm not running for mayor again. I've done my terms as mayor. I'm running for state legislature. But I really believe that as Republicans, we have the opportunity to be on the offense, just like with the initiatives. We can be smart. Look, I love JT. He's been in the legislature 14 years. He did a great job while he's there. He's not going to be there in the future. I have his support now. I have the support of dozens of leaders across the 2nd district and most of the mayors across the district at this point. but we need to continue to drive forward. We have lost ground at the state the last couple of years, and I really believe that the way we gain ground at the state is to get granular. That's leaders from the local level who know how to talk to constituents, who have built relationships with them that aren't based off what their party is. They're based off what they did for them. Did they fix that pothole in their front yard? Did they take care of that drug house down the street? Did they respond to them when they reached out? And so, Nick, I know we've had a lot of these talks. When we recruit local, we build a base local, we take that to the state, and we can push back on all these crazy agendas that come from the state that are trying to take away our rights. I'll leave just one more thought here, is that I'm glad we have such a robust group of people running for OSPI. School districts and cities and counties, like, these are different ways to govern locally. If you don't like the way that school districts have gone the last couple of years, you need to look at why they've gone that way. It's that centralization, the state and the federal, being able to dictate more than school districts. School district boards essentially are perfunctory at this point. They don't have a lot of ability to change things because OSPI is dictating to them. And if you look around at the state, that's what the state is starting to do to cities and to counties. And here in Pierce County, individual cities are very strong, but they're getting weakened every year by preemption from the state. And so I say send a mayor to the state, a mayor that knows how to reduce crime, a mayor that knows how to connect with their constituents, and a mayor that can make a better community for us. And I think that's what we need the second in the state. So thank you for your support.
At least the 2081, you said that the reason why it was voted for and passed, even in advance, is because they were afraid it was going to be down in November. Can you explain that? Or would you explain that?
Democrats, let me put on my conspiracy hat here, right? It's really a strategy thing that if you're a Democrat and if you're one of the middle that you don't know what the parties are, but you generally have this philosophy. The Democrats don't want you looking at a ballot and saying, okay, Ferguson is anti-police, but I really like this initiative to allow police to make my neighborhood safe. As Republicans, we would have tied that thing around his neck, right? That initiative around his neck in November. And so what I'm saying is the reason they passed it now is they didn't want to pass it. They passed it because it's a small poison now, so they didn't have to face the poison at the ballot box in November.
Yes.
It's a really crafty move by
turnout.
folks at the
Yes.
state. It's a really crafty move by the Republican Party to get it out there on a big year because it forced them to listen to constituents. Where they didn't want to listen to constituents. That's why they had a ridiculous sham of a committee hearing. That's why they passed these things in the middle of the night. They don't want to hear from constituents,
That's right.
but they had to pass it because they didn't want to have to pass it in November, or they didn't want to have it tied to them in November, have their candidates they want to win, to be connected with bad policy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the thing was, with Senator Walsh, when we were down in Olympia, he stated that because those three passed in such a way, because of the volume of signatures, that they could not, Inslee couldn't even touch it. So what's been passed is done, there's no veto, there's nothing. They have to now run, it's a done deal, they can't debate it or anything, so it is a done deal.
However, because it didn't pass as a ballot measure,
Correct,
they can change it next year.
they could change it next
Otherwise,
year.
they'd have to wait 2 years.
Correct.
So they don't have to do that because they adopted it.
Yeah, so 2024 is important, we've gotta make sure we get the people that we need in the seats to protect what we have done.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
Change it how?
Oh.
So if a ballot measure passes, there's a 2-year moratorium. They have to get a 2/3 to override the will of the people. But because it wasn't the will of the people, it didn't go for a ballot in November. They adopted it so they can change it next year. They don't have the 2-year limit. Yeah.
What are you running for again? Sorry.
Yeah, the J.G. Wilcox's position, 2nd Legislative District, Position 2, House of Representatives.
We need him out here.
Yes.